domino effect. One opportunity creates another opportunity, and that's God's economy. There is no end to that. Once you create an opportunity for someone else, then there's another opportunity, and that never ends. It just
and that goes in
on.
line with the scripture that says, "Be fruitful and multiply." We don't realize when we multiply our efforts, it multiplies so many people's efforts around us.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was thinking about that same thing about. That's the reason why we're here. We're here to increase. Not around the waistline, okay? So don't look at me there, Ben. Don't look at me there. But I'm just saying, in all aspects of life, we're to increase, to make better, to excel. I think about just extraordinary men. Carver, even in some of the worst environments that you can think of, there were a group of men that took what they had been given and they made something extraordinary. Booker T. Washington, he was another guy. And these are people that I could say, going through the history or the annals of time, and you can say that they were in some very tough situations that allowed them to excel and actually do greater. They created institutions for learning and teaching this critical principle of growth, increase, using what you have. And then once they did that, they made more successful millionaires in the early, in late 1800s, early 1900s.
Right. Because we look at now, we're like, oh, there's no opportunity to make millions. Well, really, if we were to look at their situation just on the brink of the century, money wasn't as fluid as it is now. I mean, there's more millionaires, billionaires, and stuff like that. Even at a young age, if you were to sit there and say that, like these YouTubers, 21 years old, 18 years old, making millions of dollars. If you were to say there's a 21-year-old kid that produced self-made millionaire back in 1900, they'd be like, what?
How could they do that?
How could they do that? Right. So opportunity has increased for us, even with technology and stuff like that. And I wonder, like with Carver, you're talking about the peanut guy, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So for him, I even think about his situation. How many times did he tell people about the peanuts? But the people were making so much cotton money that they're not listening.
Right.
And it only happened once when the Weevils took over,
right.
They're like, maybe I should listen. And,
maybe.
Really what happened is it wasn't like everybody in the South started producing peanuts.
Right.
It took years for them to catch on and see, I need to change. I need to change my focus. And it came from the hurt of people changing their focus. And I think it's such a brilliant person who can change without even being hurt. To be able to go from cotton is king to peanuts is king within a year and shift and be trendy enough, open enough to say, is there something else for me? Is there more increase for me? And I think about employees right now. I was watching this also with